Well, thank you very much for coming today. This is one of many, many that you seem to have followed us around the world at TradeTech to attend. So the big question is, why?
Obviously, I'm the publisher of FTSE Global Markets magazine, and we find a lot of value in coming to the TradeTech events. We find in terms of both content, the discussions that take place, and also the kind of people that come. It's a great place for us to meet our clients who are both on the readership, the buy side and hedge fund community, and also the majority of the sell side traders and major trading venues.
So on that basis, where do you see the technology for the whole industry going, say, over the next 5 years?
I think, technology is key, probably more key in trading per se than possibly any other area of the financial markets. I think we see the growth of multi-asset trading, and I think a lot of investment will take place within that. We believe the technology is already there. When we speak to our buy-side readers, we find that they've already been offered that technology. I think in part it's always a cost issue. It always comes down to the bottom line, and I think the buy side is under cost pressure, and I think that's fundamentally what's holding back technology investment rather than the availability of the technology itself.
So how do you see the relationship between the buy side and sell side changing over the next couple of years?
I think probably in one word, closer. I think the relationship, the buy side is very open to working more closely with the sell side, be that in execution consultant, in transaction cost analysis, in terms of execution strategies. I think also within the buy side itself, you see a much closer relationship between the portfolio manager and the buy side trading desk. And I think that's feeding through much more into the relationship with the sell side, where you see the sell side trying to understand much more about the decision making behind the execution, rather than just the execution itself. Why is the trade taking place? What are they trying to achieve? And I think once the sell side understands that, it greatly affects the way they're going to work with the buy side. And so as you see this decision making process shorten, so you'll see any cost implications of the delays in these decision making to execution process, but also the services that the sell side can offer the buy side.
So actually, you're saying that with the developments in technology, even though they make it, say, easier to be more independent and have more knowledge sort of per person, it's sort of bringing people together more.
Yeah, I think without electronic execution, none of it would be possible. But I think ultimately, it's still electronic execution in a bubble doesn't work. What you need to for that electronic execution to be used most appropriately, you need to understand what's the end game. What are the buy side trying to achieve? What's the portfolio manager is making that decision? What's he trying to achieve? Why is he selling or buying a particular stock?
So, as someone who has a very sort of helicopter view of the whole industry, if you could change one thing about it, or think one thing that should be changed with a magic wand, what would that thing be?
I think probably the biggest issue is regulation. I think, and a lack of certainty in regulation. Where there's so much change, there's uncertainty, and when there's uncertainty, that's never good for markets. Companies can't decide where to invest. People can't make those big technology decisions that we spoke about earlier. And I think until there's some sort of certainty about how that market's going to develop, what the regulators hope to achieve, and also fully understanding the implications of any regulations they put in place, and until that, then it's very difficult for the industry to sort of move forward.
And finally, as a TradeTech aficionado, how is TradeTech Liquidity stacking up for you against all the others that you've been to?
I think it's great. I'm afraid the coffee's just as bad as the other TradeTechs, but the number of attendees is great. There's just under 400 here today. I think the content's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to catching up with the people in the industry and finding out what their thoughts are.
Well, next time we'll bring our own coffee. Thank you very much.
Right.
Take care.
Thank you, Dan.